Hi.
Hi guys, how are you?
Very well.
Good, good. Just quick intros. I'm Michael Westfall. I'm the digital data analyst here at Advanced Star. I'm in charge of optimizing all of our websites and kind of making sure that the content lines up with, basically where Google is with its algorithms, and it's very renowned for changing on the whim and that kind of thing. So we just kind of make sure that we can move with the trends and move with the changes. And We have Mike Quirk on. Mike, what do you do here at Advanced Star?
I am the products editor, and I am a content specialist. I sort of divide or ride the fence between digital and print, doing all kinds of things. Jack of all trades.
Great. And then we have Greta Lesky. Greta, hi, how are you?
Hello, I'm a content marketing specialist for the Dental Media Group. So if you have an ebook you're working on, a campaign with a webinar, I'm the one that's going to be helping build it and push out content for that campaign.
Great. Yeah, I guess we can kind of just start off with really the core of what we do every day, and that is to serve our readers both on the web and in print. And Mike, you'd kind of mentioned before, you ride that line between print and digital, and that presents a lot of challenges, especially these days when we're in a soundbite world, and news is constantly happening 24/7. So your RSS feeds build up in that way. So I kind of like to start with what just happened in the industry about 2 or 3 weeks ago. Google launched a brand new algorithm. They're calling it Hummingbird. And what we really know about it is the major change is now not necessarily how they rank results, but how they look at what you're searching for. It's really kind of a balance between mobile and desktop. They really want voice search to be something that people can utilize and have more accurate results with voice search. That, I think, was the major change, and the reason that our sites kind of moved in and everybody got a boost here at Advanced Star is because we kind of saw this coming. We aligned a lot of our metadata, and we'll get into what metadata is and why it's important and all that kind of stuff. But in this reality that we live in, where Google kind of dictates, who the winners and losers are on the web, it's really important to be out in front of these changes. You cannot recover from a ranking hit. If you go into the negative, you always want to stay on the positive side of where the trends are going to happen. So, Mike, how do we keep on all these trends? I mean, especially when you guys are in a very niche industry like dental. How do you really find what's trending and what's going on, and how do you serve your readers that content?
I mean, I think the first thing you do is mainly you stay aware of of what's happening in the industry, like reading all that I can from different websites. I subscribe to a lot of aggregate news aggregation websites. And most of them have you can specify your interests. You can filter out things that you don't want.
Right.
And I get all dentistry, and you just see sort of there are once you look at the stories for long enough, you start to see bigger patterns, and you can follow those through and then find interesting things to say on top of the things that already exist.
Right, absolutely.
But going back to Hummingbird, I'm just curious, like, well, is Hummingbird a further step away from keywords and stuff? I mean, is it?
Yes. Yes.
Right.
Specifically, if you pose a question to Google, it's not looking for keywords anymore. It's looking for a property. It's looking to turn that question into basically a huge keyword. What it wants to do is understand what you're looking for rather than the words that you're searching. So in other words, there's Boston the city, there's Boston the band. If I search, how did Boston get to Texas? Google will automatically know I'm not talking about Boston the city, I'm talking about the band, that kind of thing. So you're going to hear the word semantic metadata repeated a lot, especially during our hangouts, because I think that's kind of where the future of search is going. And Facebook really kind of brought this into the forefront very recently as well with Facebook Open Graph. Facebook Open Graph is just kind of another incarnation of the same thing that Google has been doing with the semantic search and the metadata initiative that they put forth. And I think it's going to impact us positively, but I know a lot of sites are being impacted negatively, so I really wanted to talk about why you're experiencing adverse reactions to these algorithm changes, because I hear it all the time where sites are doing really well, they're well constructed, they're maybe even just a WordPress site, and all of a sudden this algorithm change comes out and all of the traffic disappears practically overnight. And I think kind of the core of what we keep sacred here at Advanced Stars is really the quality of what we put out there. And that's always kind of been true since we started. We really wanted to focus on the quality of the content rather than stuffing keywords out there and stuffing posts out there that just will match up with the trends. If we stay on the trends internally and write quality content around it, that will all happen naturally. You don't have to force that issue. It just kind of blends and happens as it goes. So I think that philosophy has really served us well, and Greta can attest to this, especially since Greta's more now on the marketing end with utilizing tools like HubSpot and utilizing market intelligence and customer relationship management tools like HubSpot allow us to kind of really decode not only what do they want to know, but how do they look for it. I think that's more important, I think, than what they're looking for is how do they search for this stuff. And trying to match those two things up in this environment, you really have to know where the tools are to do that.
So, Michael, then let me ask, what kind of advice would you give to like our clients that have websites and they're putting out content?
Yeah, right. Yeah, this is a question I get all the time, not only on the dental side, but on the healthcare side as well. Every single one of our clients obviously has a web property that they're trying to drive traffic to, and what they do is they use web ads and in-text replacement type ads to drive traffic to their website, because they really cannot show up on a Google search because usually the sites are brand new and they're just launching it. There's really no domain to speak of as far as authority goes, that kind of thing. So when launching a new site, it's actually more important to make sure that it's a website, not a web ad. If you're building a website with the intention of promoting a product, you need to be a source of information in order for people to go to your site. If your site is really just an ad, the only way to drive traffic to it is to run another ad on maybe an infomercial. You're not going to get Google rankings by putting ads out there. So you can start there, the philosophy of, do we want to build a resource site and have it, if you have a new drug coming out for cholesterol, I would build a site around cholesterol and how to manage it and information about it and how your product ties in there. So that's just kind of a big picture overview, and also start with your sitemap. Just a small little technical tidbit without giving too much of our trade secrets away. Yeah, definitely get your sitemap in order. Get familiar with Google Webmasters, google.com/webmasters. Get in there as soon as you can, and just do some research on semantic web search, and you should have no problem hitting the ground running there.
And speaking of like topics that are really hot and making sure content is good, Michael Cork, do you want to sort of talk about what you've been working on lately with the Obamacare coverage?
Yes, it's a series of articles that address some of the questions that I've seen that dentists have about the Affordable Care Act, or Obamacare as it's affectionately called by many. So far, we have 2 articles. One that is 5 steps that every dentist needs to know about the Affordable Care Act. Another one is just a video with our group editorial director, in which he asked Teresa Duncan, an insurance expert, about how the ACA will affect dental practices. And I've also written one, I've written one as well about the medical device excise tax.
Medical device tax, yes.
Yeah, just sort of a general FAQ. I'm also doing something about Section 179, which is a tax break that healthcare professionals can use to apply to larger medical devices, big
Big ticket items.
big ticket equipment, and how that sort of fits into everything on top of what I've talked about already. So that's what I've been working on. Government is on everyone's minds, obviously, lately. It's a hot topic. The most challenging part has been really putting myself in the mind of a dentist and figuring out how I could help them, what problems were important to them, and how best to
Empower
present,
them.
well,
Yeah.
no, to present that information so that it's useful to them. Which goes back to a lot of the SEO things, which I think is one part about why this series has been so popular.
Absolutely. And I think you just hit it on the head when you said the word problem. What problems do they have, and how can we come in and provide them with data and information that will overcome these issues and these problems that they're having, not only within their practice, but in society in general. And I think that's something that's universal. It's not just something that's niche and it only applies to dental. We can take these methods and techniques and apply them to really any situation. So that's great. That's great that you brought that up. Perfect. So yeah.
I think that's what we have going on this week. I just want to throw out, every time I come across different marketing articles that I'm reading, I always come across these little tips. And one thing that someone just blatantly came out and said, do not be afraid to be weird on social media. That is my tip for the day, because it's...
You guys are both friends with me on Facebook. You know I have no problem with that.
Exactly. It helps you stand out, just like we do our Throwback Thursday. Michael finds Throwback Thursday ads, old dental ads, that stuff.
I think that's awesome.
You have to be able to stand out, or you're just going to be the same as the next person, and that's my great tip for the day.
No, perfect. Yeah, there's so much noise out there. How do you set yourself apart from that? That's a perfect wrap up. Great.
Don't be boring.
That's right.
Just try not to.
Right. All right, guys.
All right.
Good seeing you guys.
Talk to you soon. Great conversation.